Hey everybody, we have two exciting guests today. We have Lyndsey, Neel, and Jennifer Marin from Real Estate Direct Property Management, and they're going to be talking to us about the current real estate rental market here in Brevard. So hang around, we will be right back. What's up? How are you guys doing today?
Great. How are you doing?
Happy Friday.
Right. So I'm excited to have you on. I appreciate you taking the time on a Friday morning to come join us and talk about what everybody wants to talk about, and that is property management here on the Space Coast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I know that you guys had some things that you wanted to get into. Let's start with what's going on with the rental market right now. I know that I'm working with a lot of folks that are currently renting, trying to buy, and they're kind of going back and forth on if they want to continue renting or buy because there's just a lot of variables right now. What are you guys seeing in your world?
Yeah, so it's been the past year, just like we follow the sales market. It's been a little bit slower. We have started to see a little uptick of it starting to get a little bit busier. But we're kind of dealing with the aftermath of, all these investors that came in when the market was great, 2-3 years ago, purchased properties and we were renting them out at high rates. Now those tenants are moving out. We have to relist it for rent and we're having to come down on our prices. So just trying to educate, our owners, investors about what the market's doing and where the price point needs to be. It's been a challenge, but it is our job as agents to educate our clients.
Yeah, are you finding that you have fewer and fewer tenants that are renewing leases, or why are you finding that there's vacancies and you have to find new tenants? Is it because they're buying? What's going on?
I think it's a mixture of a bunch of different things. I've had quite a few that have, decided to purchase properties, some that are just moving. We do have a big military, community here. So they are, moving every 3 years. So that's part of it also.
Yeah.
Sure.
Great.
So have you found that you are getting more, what's the word I'm looking for? Are you finding that you're getting more property owners that are working to offload or offboard that to a property management company versus doing it themselves because they're realizing how cumbersome it is and all the work that's involved?
Yes. I've actually had a couple leads this week from people who are doing the management themselves and they've just said it's gotten to be too much, whether it's the HOAs getting worse or it's the tenants moving out and then the turnovers. There actually have been quite a few people breaking leases that, the owners have come to us and said, I just didn't know what to do, so I let them out. And so we're having to help take over and tell them, well, now that we're here, you're not going to have to deal with that again because you don't have to be the bad guy. We can be the bad guy and basically hold them to that, legally binding contract. So,
yeah,
I can't see either one of you being a bad guy. You're both so sweet.
It's our alter egos for sure. We're pretty heartless, Nate. As we've been called many times.
Yeah, actually that happens frequently.
Yeah, but a lot of owners, they get into this and, they don't have that boundary with their tenants. So they're afraid to say no to them and, they want to keep them happy, but, there's just no boundaries. So we don't, we put those boundary walls up.
Yeah, and I think if I had multiple, maybe even just one, but if I had multiple rental properties, I don't know that I would want the headache of having to manage that myself. I would definitely employ the professionals. I would go to Real Estate Direct and say, I need help with this. I don't want this extra burden, this extra work. I just want to collect the rental income, help me. So
yeah. And that's what a lot of people think it is. Oh, I'm going to have renters and I'm just going to collect rental income. There are so many laws that, owners don't know that they can get themselves into big trouble for. And that's why we're here I say we act as their insurance policy, pretty much. We're keeping them out of trouble.
Yeah.
We have a lot of bad guys. It's family. Like family is the best way to go and friends, but It's not the best way to go.
Just say no to friends and family.
Yeah.
You want to help them out, but puts
It's
you
funny
on.
that you mentioned that, because that's one of the things I wanted to ask about was, do you have a lot of tenants that are related to the owners, or do you find that you have to take over in some scenarios because there's that weird dynamic where the owner is renting to a family member and they don't want it to get weird?
Yeah, definitely. And even like we strongly recommend to them, don't do it because they're going to bypass us and just go to their family member or friend, which is just going to create even more of a issue. We're in the middle trying to, deal with both situations when really we're the one that should just be dealing with the tenant and the owner, not the tenant and the owner dealing with each other.
That goes back to a lot of the calls that we get. We get a lot of calls where they're like, I let my cousin stay or I let my son stay and they're just not paying rent. I have to get them out. And then I just want to do this the right way. I even met with somebody this week that said, my son may be moving to the area, but even if he moves here, I can't do this. I'm going to be too nice. So he only has to deal with you. And I was like, that's the best way to do it. You're so smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you kind of wish everybody had the same mindset and was forward thinking to put you in place before it happens, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Before the chaos ensues and you're having to backtrack. So.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think is going to be the rental market over the next 6 months based on what you've seen and the experience that you have? Do you think that we're going to continue to see rents possibly being less expensive monthly than somebody buying a house just because of rates and home values and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, we can't control the market. And even though everyone thinks that realtors control the market, we don't. So I hope that it at least stays the same, if not goes up, obviously, because that's how we get paid. We're getting paid off the commissions of the rent. So I certainly don't want the rents to go down. But business wise, I just hope that it at least stays or goes back up or gets a little bit busier. We have typically we tell owners, we can get your property rented within 30 days with the right tenant. We're not putting bad tenants in just to get it rented. Now we're telling them, possibly 30, 45, maybe even 60 days. So typically when it gets to about that 30-day, 45-day period, we've already done rental decreases and we're even talking to them about, hey, the option is here. You can have it listed for rent or also you can have it listed for sale at the same time and see which comes first. So there are, many options of what to do. I think the biggest thing for owners the past few years have been the increase in taxes, insurance, and HOA fees. So we have to make sure that they're getting covered, making some money also. So that's another thing, with the prices going down. Insurance isn't going down, but rental prices are. So that's where we have to make sure that the owners, being taken care of on the money end.
Right. So is that part of what you do as well, is just look at, hey, this is how much insurance is, this is how much tax is, this is what your mortgage payment is, this is what you should charge and rent to keep a healthy margin? Do you guide them in that direction?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we want them to be making something. So we're going to give them the option. Hey, we think this would be a good rental for you. This is how much you could make, or you may be better off selling it.
That makes sense. So if I wanted to become a investor, a property owner, if you will, and I don't want to do the property management thing because I know that it's a lot more work than I can handle and I want to go to the experts, would I start with having a conversation with you about what I want and then you're going to help me find the properties, or do I have to own it and turn it over to you?
Either way. A lot of times, most of our investors we work with closely, we may have met them somewhere at a networking event or we have properties of theirs, so we help them. But if they come from another agent, we always tell agents when they refer us properties, if they have any questions on the rental side of it, because they can tell them values based off of what they see online, but we're really working in the rental market more than they are. So if their clients have any questions, then they can reach out to us anytime. That way they know what they're getting into before they purchase a property and think it's going to be a great investment. And then they come to us later and we say, actually, that's probably not going to be what you're going to get out of it. The area, for instance, they're going to think they're getting a great deal price-wise for the sale, but then the area for renting doesn't do well. So, we always tell them whether they're working with us as far as us being their realtors or having another agent, always come to us first so that we can help you maximize your cash flow in the end.
Makes sense. So you're going to be there from beginning to end. If I have an idea that I want to do this, you're going to help me with acquiring the property,
Yes.
getting set up, finding a tenant, everything.
Yeah. That's our job.
Okay, cool.
It has been a little bit of a struggle trying to educate these people that, like I said, bought at the height of the market and now it's coming down. So I think that's probably been the biggest thing for us this year is just educating them on that. Also, there's so many rental properties available. If you just look at what's available, there's so many. So again, you got to look at your competition when you're looking at purchasing a property. What's going on in that neighborhood or in that condo building, how many are actually for rent, so that you know your competition before you purchase something.
Makes sense. And you're going to be the experts that we would want to reach out to have those questions answered.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys spending some time with us this morning, answering some questions and giving us your forecast for what you think is to come in the Space Coast property management and rental market.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. You have a wonderful day. And if anybody wants to get in touch with you to either become an investor, to turn over their property management to you, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so they can call the office, which is 321-254-0688. We have probably 99% of our information right on our website about what we charge, what's included. So that is a great resource for people. If they don't want to talk to somebody, they just want to know what we offer and what our services are and how much they cost. They're right on our website. It's not hidden anywhere. And that's realestatedirect.net.
realestatedirect.net, and full transparency on all the costs. Like there's no hidden costs, fees, anything. It's all out there.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
We have nothing to hide anyway.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I really do appreciate you guys coming on again, Jen and Lyndsey. Always a pleasure to have this conversation with you, and we hope to have you on again soon.
Thanks, Nate.